So Laguna Beach remains a small seaside town of 20,000-ish people in Southern California. 6 million people visit this wonderful little town each year to take in its ocean views, the Festival of Arts, the Art Affair, the Sawdust Art Festival, the Pageant of Masters, yep, also an art festival, and now something known as Kelp Fest. But back in 1984, investigator Jenny Strackner of the Laguna Police Department suspected some people were visiting a very specific address in Laguna Beach for something other than art appreciation. She was beginning to think that Billy Greenwood was selling controlled substances out of a single-family residence he occupied. Investigator Strackner heard through the grapevine that a truckload of drugs and drug-related resources were heading to the Greenwood place. In addition to this anecdote, a neighbor of the Greenwoods complained of late-night traffic that visited the residence for a few minutes at a time. Though suspicious, these tidbits did not amount to a great deal, at least in the estimation of Investigator Strackner. She wanted more, so she became inventive. Investigator Strackner noticed that the Greenwoods disposed of their normal household garbage much in the same way most of us do, by placing it in solid bags and then, on the anointed neighborhood trash day, taking it to the curb for garbage collection. She approached the neighborhood trash collector and asked him to collect the trash bags from the Greenwood home on the appropriate trash collection day, but to keep those bags separate from the other neighbor's trash. This way, Investigator Strackner hoped to learn more about the ongoings inside the Greenwood household. The trash collector did so, and then turned the bags over to her. Investigator Strackner opened the bags and found evidence consistent with controlled substance use. She used her discoveries to form the basis of an affidavit in support of a search warrant application, which was granted by the reviewing judge. Later, that same day, Investigator Strackner and other officers executed the search warrant at the home of Billy Greenwood and found a large quantity of controlled substances. They placed Billy under arrest. He posted bail and was back at home in no time. Here's the thing. About a month later, under very similar circumstances, the Laguna Police Department caught Billy back in the drug game again. And yes, law enforcement used evidence they pulled from his trash bags as the basis for obtaining yet another search warrant, which resulted in yet another search, which ended in the discovery of yet another pile of controlled substances. Billy had not learned his lesson. The question here is not whether Billy is going to take better care of what he puts in his trash for garbage pickup, but whether Billy retained a reasonable expectation of privacy in the garbage bags sitting at the curb near his home. Does Billy have a right to complain about who digs through the stuff he puts out for garbage day? The state of California and its court system believe that he did. The courts there found that intruding into people's garbage bags, even on the side of the road, was an intrusion into their reasonable expectation of privacy. Therefore, the government could only do so with a search warrant or a recognized exception to the search warrant requirement. The Laguna Police Department didn't have either, so the evidence was suppressed. But wait, the United States Supreme Court wanted its say as well. And in determining whether Billy Greenwood had a reasonable expectation of privacy in the garbage bags he placed near the road, the court applied the cat's definition. That is, they first asked, did Billy really expect his privacy in those bags to be protected? And secondly, is this the kind of privacy we as a community wish to confer on others? On both of these questions, the court found that Billy's claims were inadequate. The court noted that garbage bags placed in an area accessible to the public, near a public roadway, are easily accessible by animals, children, scavengers, snoops, and other members of the public. Secondly, Billy placed his garbage bag on the side of the roadway for the express purpose of conveying it to a third party. Billy turned evidence of his drug activity over to the sanitation people to do with as they please. Whether he hoped it would be deposited in a landfill without ever being traced back to him is immaterial. The garbage company could do whatever it wanted to with the garbage once it was in their hands. It just so happened that they wanted to give it to the police. Finding Billy's claim of REP in trash bags, he left near the side of the road for the sanitation department to clear away, excuse the pun, garbage. It found that the Laguna Police Department's intrusion into those bags was not a Fourth Amendment search, and therefore no warrant was needed. And so, the old adage goes, one man's trash is, in this case, an investigator's treasure, without a warrant. I'm Liberty Moore, and this has been a Flexi Talk.